Budapest on Sunday for the final rounds of the British Motorcycle Championships at Donington. Callum Ramsey still leads the series, but he's done all he can to give the championship to Jason Davis. Despite that, he still leads by 20 points. John McGuinness, still third despite being out with a broken hip since Snetterton. He's equal with Gary Haslam in third. Ramsey has qualified down in 23rd place. That's the 6th row of the grid. He has a 20-point lead. That's his team manager and team owner, Neil Mackenzie, keeping an eye on this man, Jason Davis, who is on pole position in contrast. There it is, confirmation. Davis from Haslam, from Gary Jackson and Lee Jackson. The Jackson brothers going brilliantly again. Roland Sands, Ian Bennett, Darren Barton and Tom Tunstall are on row 2. On row 3, it's Pete Jennings, along with Tim Levy, Shane Norvell and Hilton Hinks. Stuart Easton, George Wakefield, Chris Bishop and Steve Thompson are on row 4. On row 5, we've got Andy Sawford, Phil Stead, Aaron Zanotti and Kevin Brown. And right down on row 6, joining Callum Ramsey, Adrian Clark, Mark Jarvis and Michael Herzberg. Take a look back to row 6. That is where Callum Ramsey is. He hasn't scored points for ages. Callum Ramsey in all sorts of trouble. I don't know what his problem is, but it's dry now compared with the wet qualifier that put him on 23rd place. Who's it going to be then that makes the whole shot for the last time in the 250s this year? Jason Davis has got to win if he can, but straight through comes Gary Jackson. Oh, Roland Sands tries to muscle his way around the outside. Roland Sands on a Demon Vimto Honda on some kind of a mission as Gary Jackson takes him right out to the dirt this time round. And Gary Haslam is under him as well. Oh, the first couple of quarters.
Yeah, Callum's a very good starter and needed to be in this one. And Roland Sands is going to be on a mission because I think when he goes back to America, he wants to be taking a first place cup with him.
Oh, Jason Davis at the old hairpin, straight under 7, Gary Haslam. So 17, Jason Davis. Got to win this race if he can. 10 is Roland Sands on the Demon Vimto Honda. And if you remember when I was reading down the grid, yes, Stuart Easton, the 125 race winner, is out there on the spare 250 Demon Vimto Honda bike. So he's having a bit of a ride round here as well.
Sands has got a real race in his hands with Jason Davis. He ran the outside up under Starkey's bridge and then Jason Davis stuffs it back underneath him.
Here we go, Gary Jackson. Gary Jackson, of course, won in the wet. Gary Jackson has been brilliant in the wet. There is Callum Ramsey. He's finding his way past 19.
Stuart Easton, that's the other Demon Vimto Honda.
Indeed, so Callum Ramsey making up a place. Can he make up a place? Phil Stead's next up from Northallerton. Well, meanwhile, as we watch, oh, Jason Davis is waving. There is, well, Neil Mackenzie is the owner of Callum Ramsey's motorcycle. He'll be taking it back at this. It'll be a repossession. Number 3, Darren Barton.
Barton's hit the front. He's making it look easy, but Jason Davis is on his way back at the moment.
Yeah, Jason Davis has just reversed all the way through the field. I think he's waving frantically at his pitboard. That's not going to do any good whatsoever. Ian Bennett goes under him now. 34 Ian Bennett. That's a nicely turned out motorcycle as well. Real nice livery here for this year, so well done, Ian. So TW2 there. Oh, we're looking back at Barton. Barton in front of Roland Sands on bike 10. 9 is Lee Jackson. Brother Gary has now slid back down the pack. 7 is Gary Haslam. Looking at 51 coming through. 8 is Gary Jackson. 21. 17 is Jason Davis. Jason Davis has blown this. He cannot win this championship. There's 20 points in it between him and Callum Ramsey, and even with the appalling result that Callum Ramsey managed in qualifying and is managing in this race.
Well, Callum's only a couple of places behind him now, so he can see him, so Callum doesn't need to put any more effort in. You can see Jason Davis. Well, his job's done.
The fact is, he don't have to put any effort in anyway with Jason Davis where he is, because he's still going to win the championship. So Callum Ramsey can take the rest of the week off. Some said he had. Sorry about that, Callie. So Ian Bennett right behind him. Callum Ramsey on bike 60. He is a great racer. He's a class racer. But something has certainly happened in the last few races. Whether the bike has been very difficult to set up, I have no idea. But certainly he has struggled like mad. Jason Davis, 1:13, down in 8th place at the moment, 16 seconds behind. So Jason Davis really has not been able to make capital of this at all. Darren Barton on the help hire assist bike. So Robin Appleyard, well, the team manager has been helping him. Oh, look at that, it's a good time and all. 1:11.8, yeah, indeed, 98.1 miles an hour. So Barton on his usual mission, ex-Grand Prix man, superbly fast, just about to come up and lap David Gattenby. Yeah, Barton on the final lap, comes to the line then, Darren Barton, yes, yanks on the handlebars, gets it in a big wheelie. Over the line, class act, Darren Barton, superb win at the end of the season. Well, he started as he's finished as he started, hasn't he, really?
Unfortunately, the middle bit didn't go quite according to plan, but still a fantastic rider.
Well, there is Callum Ramsey. He comes to the line. He is going to be the British 250cc champion. You saw Colin Wright and Neil Mackenzie standing on pit wall. Callum Ramsey takes the championship, but I'm sure he wouldn't have fancied the championship in those circumstances, to be honest. But he did enough mid-season. Ramsey is the 250cc British champion. He rode brilliantly from the start of the season, but in the last 2 or 3 rides really has tapered off. and he will be disconcerted, to say the least, about that. No problem about Darren Barton, though. 96.6 miles an hour. As we look at Callum, somewhat subdued in his celebrations, but he is British 250cc champion. Takes over from his good mate John McGuinness, who's watching in pit lane. Barton, Sands, Jackson, we're going to see those on the podium in a moment. Tom Tunstall 4th, Gary Haslam 5th, Gary Jackson 6th, Bishop and Bennett 7th and 8th. Callum Ramsey down in 9th place in front of Steve Sawford. Well, Steve Sawford's no mean rider either. Pete Jennings down in 11th place. Levy, Herzberg, Hodge, Davis and Wakefield round out the top 16. Jason Davis scores the last point on the championship table.
Callum, you've achieved the main objective. Davis wasn't the threat to you that he could have been.
No, I saw him just in front of me. My objective was just to try and get to top 11, and then I knew it didn't matter where he finished, and I got a good start and got up into top 10, but I was really struggling with my bike. I kept losing the front everywhere, and I just had to settle and know that I was going to get this championship because that's what I wanted.
You have struggled in the last couple of rounds, and you've been saying it's the bike. What is the specific problem?
We just had a bit of a trouble with the front forks at Mallory Park, and went to Brands with them not set up again, and I've come here and I struggled a bit getting a wet set up, but in the dry I knew it'd be okay. Just lack of track time in the last 2 or 3 races.
You do seem very calm considering you've just lifted a 250 championship.
Yeah, just not sunk in yet. It's just one of these things. It'll hit me when I have a beer later.
A beer with Mr. Mackenzie, I'm sure. Well done.
Thanks so much.
I think something's gone wrong with the engine or spark plug or something like that. It just wasn't revving on the straight at all. And unfortunately, you can't, at this level, you can't win races with a sick engine. So, you know, second in the championship. Bit disappointing that I couldn't win the race, but what can you do?
I got a bit of a lead and then I started making mistakes, and I just relaxed a bit and got my head down and started taking everything a bit smoother, and I managed to pull a gap, and I think they were battling with each other and maybe wasting half a second here and there, so I'm really chuffed for the team and myself.
Not half as chuffed as Callum Ramsey. He is the British 250cc champion. Jason Davis disappointed in 2nd place. Darren Barton finishing 3rd in the end, courtesy of that win. Gary Haslam 4th, Lee Jackson 5th. John McGuinness, despite the fact he's not been there since Snetterton, 6th. Neil Mackenzie, team owner, hands over the trophy to Callum Ramsey, championship winner. That's the way to do it, keep it in the family. Ramsey then pops the champagne, soaks his competition, and will celebrate long into the Donington night. Jim Moody leads the Supersports. Only one man can beat him. His name, Kirk McCarthy from Castrol Honda. It's tough at the top.
Difficult conditions for everybody yesterday, and I definitely drew the shot strong, got caught out big time. Well, it was wet, we were no problem. In the first session we had no problem, and then in the start of the second session I was pole for a little while. But then when it dried out, we just seemed to get caught out big time, and you know, I ended up 9th.
This morning's warm-up though, 4th fastest. Kirk McCarthy's going well too. Tremendous amount of tension this morning, I've noticed. Kirk looks actually like he's suffering from nerves. Despite the fact you've got a bit of a stony face most of the time when you've got your race face on, Jim, I have to say that it looked more stony than ever this morning. Smile back on there though after this morning's warm-up.
Yeah, it's just because it's not really going according to plan. That's why I'm frustrated more than anything else. You know, I know I shouldn't be on the 3rd row, but that's where I've got to start from. You know, and I'm pretty sure Kurt's going to get the whole shot, and I've got a hard couple of laps to contend with. That's all I'm annoyed about. You know, I'm annoyed with myself more than anything else.
They're good friends off track, and clearly they're close on it. 16 points then the difference between Moody and McCarthy. That means Jim Moody has got to finish 6th or better to take the championship. Doesn't matter if Kirk McCarthy wins the race. Vermeulen starts from pole with Mark Heckles, Kirk McCarthy and Gary Mason on the Nick Morgan Racing Kawasaki. Rob Frost, Steve Brogan, who will not be on the grid from an accident in warm-up. Mark Burr and Simon Andrews on row 2. On row 3, Jim Moody with a lot of work to do, but he's got Glenn Richards there and Howard Whitby alongside him. Andy Tinsley's there too. Tim Paul, Dave Johnson, Dennis Hobbs and Adrian Kershaw round out row 4. This could be